Imagine you wake up, no walls, no roof, no weapon except a sharpened stick you made yesterday. And something is watching you from the dark. Not a criminal, not a rival. A cave lion, 700 pounds of muscle, built by evolution to kill things exactly your size. And here's the terrifying part. You're not alone in that darkness. Saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, short-faced bears, cave bears, dire wolves, megalania, a lizard the size of a car that could swallow your torso whole. These weren't myths. They were your neighbors. And somehow, against every one of them, your ancestors didn't just survive, they won. So how? How did a hairless, slow, medium-sized primate with no claws, no fangs, and no armor become the most dangerous thing on the planet? The answer is stranger and more brutal than you think. First, let's set the scene. We're talking roughly 300,000 to 10,000 years ago, the Pleistocene epoch, and the world was stacked against humans in every measurable way. A cave lion was about 40% bigger than a modern African lion. A saber-toothed cat had canine teeth the length of your hand. Cave bears weighed up to half a ton. Short-faced bears could run faster than a horse. And early humans? Average height around 5'5". No natural armor. Relatively slow runners, physically weaker than most predators we shared space with. On paper, we were prey. In fact, we were prey for a long time. Early fossil records show human bones cracked open by hyenas, skulls punctured by big cat teeth. We were on the menu. So, what changed? Two things, and together, they were more powerful than any claw or fang that ever existed. The first weapon was the brain, specifically the ability to predict, plan, and cooperate at a scale no other animal on Earth could match. Take ambush hunting. Big cats are the best ambush predators in history. They're patient, silent, explosive, but they hunt alone or in small groups. They can't coordinate a strategy across 20 individuals. Humans could. Archaeological evidence shows early humans hunting in organized bands, using terrain strategically. They'd drive prey and predators off cliffs. They'd create kill zones using natural choke points in valleys and river crossings. They understood the landscape as a tactical map. But it goes even deeper. Humans could share information across time. If one group learned that a particular cave lion hunted the eastern ridge at dusk, that knowledge could spread. It could be taught to the next generation. A saber-toothed cat couldn't do that. Every individual had to learn everything from scratch. This is sometimes called cumulative culture, the ability to stack knowledge across generations. And it meant that every generation of humans was slightly better equipped than the last. Every predator stayed exactly as it had always been. There's also the fire factor. The controlled use of fire begins appearing in the archaeological record around 400,000 years ago, possibly earlier. Fire changed everything. It kept predators out of camps at night. Large carnivores, even apex ones, are hardwired to fear fire. It gave humans light and warmth in seasons and environments that would otherwise be lethal. It allowed cooking, which made food more calorie-dense, which fueled larger brains. Fire was basically a cheat code. And then there were tools. Stone-tipped spears, atlatls, spear throwers that could hurl a projectile at speeds that shattered bone, appearing around 30,000 years ago. Eventually, bows and arrows. Each technological leap extended the reach of a human's effective lethality, while keeping the human themselves further from the fight. A saber-toothed cat had to close the distance to kill you. A human with a throwing spear could kill from 20 meters away. That's not a fair fight anymore, and it wasn't meant to be. The second weapon was the group. And this one is underrated. Modern humans tend to think of group behavior as a nice social thing. Teamwork, community, all that. But for early humans, group cohesion was a survival technology as real as any spear. Think about what a group of coordinated humans could do to an apex predator. A single cave lion attacks a camp at night. In nature, most animals scatter. Humans? They made noise, threw fire, formed a defensive wall. They jabbed, poked, screamed. The lion, even as a killing machine, had no programming for this. It expected prey to flee. When prey didn't flee, that was new and terrifying information. There are records, both from modern hunter-gatherers and from reconstructed archaeological sites, of humans actively mobbing predators, not just defending, actively chasing them off. Humans learned that a coordinated group with noise, fire, and pointed sticks could repel animals 10 times their individual size. But the social weapon goes further. Humans shared food. This sounds basic, but it's actually radical in the animal kingdom. When you share food, you build bonds. When you build bonds, you build trust. When you have trust, you have a group that will take serious risks together, like surrounding a cave bear to protect the children at the back of the camp. There's also the concept of what anthropologists call leveling mechanisms. Early human societies had social structures that kept any single individual from hoarding resources or abandoning others. The group enforced collective survival. If you ran and left others behind, you faced serious social consequences. This created a kind of social contract, a group immune system that made human bands far more resilient than any single member. Let's talk about results, because the scoreboard is actually astonishing. The woolly mammoth, the largest land animal in the northern hemisphere, went extinct approximately 10,000 years ago. Saber-toothed cats, gone. Cave lions, gone. Cave bears, gone. Short-faced bears, gone. Megalania, gone. The Irish elk, a deer with antlers wider than a car, gone. Now, some of this is climate change. We need to be honest about that. The end of the Pleistocene brought massive environmental shifts. But here's what's striking. Every single one of those megafauna extinctions happened within a few thousand years of humans showing up in that region. In Australia, humans arrived around 50,000 years ago. Within roughly 10,000 years, over 90% of large animal species were gone, including Diprotodon, a wombat the size of a rhinoceros. In the Americas, humans arrive around 13,000 years ago. Within 1,500 years, mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths, and American horses are extinct. This pattern, called the overkill hypothesis, isn't perfect, and scientists still debate it, but the correlation is hard to ignore. Wherever humans went, the megafauna died. Not immediately, but steadily, relentlessly. We didn't just learn to survive the apex predators, we outlasted them, we outcompeted them, and in some cases, we hunted them to extinction. The predators that survived, modern lions, wolves, bears, survived largely because they learned to fear us enough to avoid us. That fear itself is a form of defeat. Here's the part that should actually change how you think about yourself. Everything that let ancient humans beat apex predators is still running inside you. The ability to cooperate with strangers at scale, the ability to accumulate and transmit knowledge, the ability to use tools that extend your capabilities beyond your physical body, the ability to regulate group behavior so that collective survival wins over individual selfishness. These aren't relics. They're the most powerful survival toolkit ever assembled by evolution. Every time you learn something and teach it to someone else, you're running the same software that outlasted the cave lion. Every time you coordinate with a team to solve a problem no individual could solve alone, you're using the same strategy that drove the short-faced bear off the ridge. We look at those ancient predators and we think, how terrifying. But from the predator's perspective, humans were the terrifying ones. The creature that came in groups, that didn't scatter, that came back, and kept coming back every time. That's who you come from. The apex predators of the Pleistocene were bigger, faster, stronger, and more perfectly designed to kill than anything we'll ever face. And they lost. Not because they were weak, but because evolution had never seen anything like us before. If this kind of deep look at what actually made us human is your thing, you're in the right place. Subscribe. We go back a long way.